Kia ora, Internet. My name is Ralphie and I'm here with Martin from Tamara Sound Studios.
That's correct.
In the beautiful setting of Devonport in Auckland, New Zealand. We are right next to the water, which is beautiful. You can see the harbour, Sky City, everything. Take the boat to town. Was it a few minutes away?
Yeah, 12 minutes, I think.
12 minutes?
Yeah.
Really convenient location. So come down, record your projects here, and we're going to talk about the studio today. Thanks so much for having us.
You're welcome.
We've
Nice
been
to
really
have you.
excited coming because it's been a few months planning, but we're finally here.
Yep.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, I know you're a musician. Let's start off with that, I think. What's your musical history?
Okay. I started playing guitar when I was about 12, and I played in bands at school and then went on to play in covers bands with my father managing us, and we used to go around working men's clubs in the north of England and with a bunch of mates, and that went on for quite some time. And then I went off and worked for a while. I started an apprenticeship actually, and I gave up the music, didn't do any music for quite some time. And then what did I do? After I did an apprenticeship in electronics and instrumentation and process control, and quite into electronics at the time. And actually, it's an interesting story getting the when I got the job, because I was, as well as playing a few instruments, main guitar, I was interested in electronics, and I built this synthesizer, analog synthesizer, from a kit. And when I went for the job interview, they asked you to bring along an example of a hobby that you might do, and I had this suitcase. It wasn't quite boxed up yet, but it looked quite impressive. And so I took this along to the interview, and when they saw it, they were a bit wowed by it, and I think that's what got me the job.
Excellent.
So, but it was nice, to do that, a separate thing from music. It gave me another career path. I sometimes regret the other career path because it made me steer away from the music a bit. But I did get back into music again after I came out my time, and I met up with a friend and started a band with him, and various other bands after that. Eventually got into an originals band with a good friend, Pat Grogan, in the UK, and we were in a band called Telecom Shuffle, which then became Slug the Night Watchman, and that was good times. Got a publishing deal with Chapel, I think, a long time ago. Interestingly, I just hooked up with Pat. I got a random email. I've not spoken to him for 25 years, and he's been quite a successful music producer as well over time. And it was great to hear from him. And he's threatening to come out here now to do some work in my studio, which is really fantastic.
It's a common theme. It's the British invasion, but you're very welcome. You're very welcome. For me, I spent a good year and a half in London, and fell in love with the British sound. So I'm kind of taking bits from London, anyways. Yes. Just borrowing each other's talents, really. Yeah. It's really great though that you talk about being a musician, but you're also tinkering in electronics, because I find. A lot of the creative minds kind of work like that, They really like to delve into multiple things.
That's right, because I got into software as well after that, which is what sort of my current day job is software developer. Yeah. That was a meandering path, because I did a process control in industrial automation and worked on oil rigs and all sorts of other places around the world, and car plants, robotics, and different very different things. But the music's always been something I've come back to, and I've always enjoyed. I do remember when I lived in London, and I'd always fancied playing drums, and I'd never really played. As a child, I was always tapping, and my dad, he said, "You're not playing drums," and he encouraged the guitar in, but he never encouraged drumming. Yeah. But while I was living in London, a friend of mine and a bunch of Kiwis, they were getting a band together, and there were two good guitarists, both of them better than me. And I said, I know, I'll play drums. So we managed to scrape enough money between us to buy this really cheap drum kit, and I started banging away on these drums, and we used to play in Willesden Green at the Spotted Dog.
Yeah.
A band called Fat Harry and the Blue Whales, and that was hilarious. That was great fun. So very happy memories of that.
Yeah. At what age did you start in the sort of the live circuit?
And
was it your dad? You mentioned
youngster,
as pushing you as the manager as well, saying try these clubs, or how did
I would have been about 14 probably when I was gigging. I was in a band with a bunch of guys who were quite a bit older than me, and I think that's why my dad wanted to
kind of be on your side,
look
after you, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right. So because some of the places we played were quite rough, you would say.
Tell me about that. Tell me some interesting.
I do remember playing one club in a place called Thurnscoe near Doncaster, and the Thurnscoe Hotel, and there was a mass brawl while we were playing, and there were just people beating the crap out of each other, and we constantly tried to keep playing, but then somebody pulled one of the PA cabs over, and it was all on. That wasn't a really good gig, actually.
So that was in Britain.
Yes.
What about the Kiwi crowd? Are they as rowdy?
No. A little bit more reserved. Most of Britain it's north of England. Some of the working men's clubs in north of England used to be very rough. Yeah. We had one band I was in, the drummer we had was the sort of guy who used to sort problems out. He was a great guy to have around. A guy unfortunately he died very young, 23 he died. He was a great drummer, and he'd been in the army in Northern Ireland, but he came back. We put an advert in the NME for a drummer, and he came and joined us for quite a short period of time, but it was good at the time. But here, New Zealand, I gave up music for a long time when I came to New Zealand, because I married a Kiwi girl, and then we had a couple of kids, and
and two beautiful puppies too.
Oh no, this is a previous marriage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, previous marriage.
I love your dogs.
The dogs are great. Yeah.
Yeah. So your story anyway.
Yeah. So we got we had two sons. The oldest boy, who now lives in Germany, he's in his 20s. He's a great guitarist. But I gave up music for quite some time while we were raising the children, and then when the marriage broke down, the first thing I did was went and bought myself a drum kit. Yeah. And joined a covers band, and continued from there.
I was in a similar situation. I was actually started off as a DJ, right? It's like wedding DJ agencies and things like that. My first proper girlfriend relationship for 5 years, it broke up, and that's when I started my therapist was my piano. Yeah. It was great, but then something beautiful could come out of that. So did you do a lot of writing then? I mean, do you write a lot of your own music?
I don't tend to write a lot of music. I tend to be more of a support person. I've always been a support person in the music. In bands I've been in, when I played guitar, it was mostly rhythm guitar. Right. And I really enjoyed drumming, and I've more recently got into bass guitar, and I love bass. It's one of my favourite instruments now. But it's always been that supporting role, and I think that's why recording's also something that's really appealed to me.
I was going to get to that. So how did the recording, tell me about the first recording setup that you obtained. Okay,
that was a long time ago.
How did you insert into that?
Yep, that was back in England again. That would have been back in the 80s. I bought a Tascam 244 Porta Studio. And
it's a little 4-track.
A little 4-track cassette-based recording thing. And I had a little Ibanez rack-mounted delay and a little... I bought one of the first digital drum machines, I seem to remember, a DDM 110 drum machine. And a little Casio keyboard. And it was actually Pat, who I mentioned before, Pat Grogan. He was always into recording, and the band I was in with him, he used to write all our material. But when I saw how he was doing the recording, that really appealed to me at the time, and that's why I got that equipment. And so that would have been my first foray into it. I did write a couple of songs. I don't think I've got copies. Well, I know I haven't. I've not got copies of them, but I vaguely remember writing 2 or 3 songs and singing them and playing.
So how long have you been doing the sort of the recording side of things then, as an engineer?
Well, I did that for a few years back in the UK. Then what happened in New Zealand, I met my current wife, Anne-Marie, about 11 years ago.
Okay.
I was playing in a band then, and I was drumming at the time.
Yeah.
And she used to come down to rehearsals, and she used to come and see us play. We played at a few blues clubs and things.
Yeah.
And I remember, I can't remember what started me off, but I started thinking about I wouldn't mind getting some recording gear again. And at the time, I just wanted a setup that I could record my drums.
Yeah.
So I finished up buying a Focusrite Pro 40, which I've still got.
We'll look at the studio closely shortly. But,
Yep. So I bought a basic setup, and I used Reaper to record the drums, and that was at our other house.
Yeah.
And that's how I started getting bitten by the bug again. I think was doing that because historically I'd only ever used analog and tape, and it was really interesting. And it was doubly interesting because I've always been into the computer side of things. I had computers when people didn't have computers, you know.
Yeah.
ZX81s and Sinclair Spectrums and things, you know, back in the day. But and then got into and had a career in computers. So it was odd that I'd not actually got into digital recording earlier. But once I did, I got really interested in it, and learning about everything, every aspect. I just absorbed everything I could find, and the YouTube channels that you can see now are so amazing that you can learn pretty much anything.
And it does inspire you to get into it.
Oh, it does, and you can just go from one thing to another, and you can focus on the minutiae of things and really learn in depth about everything, and that really appeals. You know, both looking at things from a high level and looking at the overall sound of something, but also really getting into the mechanics of really microscopic sounds as well. It really appeals to me, always has done. So it was great, and knowing that you've got that control and that power to be able to manipulate audio in a way that, you know, was unheard of back, you know, in the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
And now, you know, it's just incredible what you can do with audio, and I absolutely love it. It's
definitely a pleasure to be born in the current future.
Absolutely,
unless you're watching this in the future and then you're going, what were they working with?
Yes.
But no, it's a great time to be making music, recording music.
Oh, absolutely.
It's awesome. We're really excited to be here. Thank you for sharing your story as a musician. And we'll delve into a little bit more about the studio, you know, get the people of New Zealand seeing this wonderful space that you have.
Yes.
Because you're open, when are you open? Is it nights and weekends?
Weekends and evenings. At the moment, because I do have to have a full-time job to pay for all this equipment.
Yes, yes.
At the moment. But yes, I have had quite a few artists down here and spent quite a bit of time with different artists. And I would like more and more. I've got my band. We rehearse down here once a week, the Inheritance. And we are an originals band. Most of the material is written by either the 2 guitarists, a little bit by the singer as well. We're always on the lookout for new gigs. We've got a gig coming up at Tiny Triumphs, our local pub, this month, which looking forward to. But we've played at the Wine Cellar, played at the King's Arms, and various other places around Auckland. Yeah. Always seems a challenge to get gigs, especially if you've not got management, which we haven't, and you've got a full-time job as well, you know, it's difficult. You know, as we've discovered, just getting an appointment to get everybody together to do one thing. It's the same with bands, you know, especially if everybody's got full-time jobs. So we do it for the love of it.
I think a lot of us do. You know, a lot of us do, and that's what keeps everyone going. Is you've got to be really passionate about this.
Absolutely.
And you seem like a man that really is. So I'd love to hear some of the Ian Harrisons and some music. Have you got some on your computer at the moment that you can?
I can give you a snippet from a rehearsal the other day.
And cliffhanger, by the way, we're going to leave it there for the interview section of our show. So that's part 1.
Yes.
And so stick around for part 2 on our channel musicstudios.co.nz. This is the interview with Martin from Tamara Studios.
Pleasure.
And we're going to do the studio tour up next. Remember to stay cool and stay creative, everyone. Bye.